All right, what is up, everybody? We are back with another edition of Everyday Hoops. Hope you guys are having a good one. We're back on HoopGrids. Yeah, remember HoopGrids? It took over a long time ago, and it's still been rolling. Shout out to the people that made HoopGrids and all that stuff. They've been doing a lot of other different things. And I decided, you know what? Let me go back and let's see if I still have, my HoopGrid talent in me. So we're gonna do a couple HoopGrids today, have some fun today's video. Thank you guys for the views on the videos and the shorts recently. I really appreciate it. If you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. Link to my Twitter and all that stuff down in the description below. And yeah, don't waste any more of your time. Let's get right into it. Right, so here we go. We're here with our HoopGrid. Yeah, if you don't know how this works, basically you have to have a player that matches every tile. So someone that the Nets, 1990s, Raptors played in the 1990s, Hawks played in the 1990s, and so on and so forth. So today we have Nets, Raptors, Hawks, play in the 90s, play in the 2000s, play in the 2010s. I'm going to start in the 90s probably because this is probably the worst I'm going to do. So Nets that played in the 1990s. Let's see. So let's go Kerry Kittles. Start. 3.89. Okay. Kerry Kittles. And you want the low, at least for me, we go for the lowest, potential percentage of players possible. I mean, you got to get like the rarest players, that no one really guesses. Let's go like Lucius Harris. Okay, there, a diamond. Okay, I'm striving for diamonds in this one. All right, Raptor that played in the 90s. They started in the 90s. So let's see. I think Doug Christie was a Raptor, 1.6%. Doug Christie. Let's go with Muggsy Bogues, Del Curry, Charles Oakley all played in the 90s. Is there any didn't John Starks play with the Raptors? No. I don't know why. I thought maybe he ended up in the Raptors at one point. Who's a guy that was on like the inaugural? I feel like not too long ago I was looking at the Raptors because I was talking. I forgot why. I looked at like the first ever Raptors team. Um, but we can go like Del Curry, I guess. 2.69. All right, so Muggsy and Charles Oakley probably are gonna be a little bit higher as well. Is there any 94 possible play? Is there any other guy randomly like? It doesn't have to necessarily play. He just had to be a player that played in the 90s that also ended up on the Toronto Raptors at one point. Are there any players like that just like Kevin Willis, which is a guy that played everywhere? Okay, there we go. And a Hawk that played in the 90s. Hawk that played in the 90s. Dikembe is the first that comes to mind. But obviously Sharif Abdur-Rahim is another one that comes to mind. Theo Ratliff was a Hawk that played in the 90s. Okay. All diamonds on that one. Okay. 2000s. This should be a little bit more easier. 2000s. 2000s. Was it Chris Wilcox? No. I feel like wasn't there was it Mickey Moore? Um Mickey Moore. There we go. Okay. Raptor that played in the 2000s. You got who played with Chris Bosh, TJ Ford. Okay. And a Hawk that played in the 2000s. Hawk that played in the 2000s. Who's on that really bad Hawks team that won like 13 games? Tyronn Lue was the starting point guard of that team. 0.42. Okay. 2010s. This should be easy. We should get all very low percentage. All right. 2010s Brooklyn Nets. Start with a Shane Larkin type beat. 0.37. All right. Honestly, can we go a little bit more like Markel Brown? There we go. Unicorn. Is that unicorn or is that no? That's what is it? Is that called unicorn? I don't know. I think it is. Maybe. All right. Raptor that played in the 2010s. Raptors. Random Raptors in the 2010s. 2010. Lorenzo Brown. I thought he was on the championship Raptors. He's 0.26. Okay. Can we get another unicorn? Who was on the Raptors when they were like young and like Bruno Caboclo? You know what? Now I'll just keep it Lorenzo Brown. A Hawk in the 2010. Let's try to think of after the Paul Millsap, Al Horford days, like the 2018, 2019, young Trae Young, before Trae Young, Malcolm Delaney, 0.31. Okay, we got a 3.64. Okay, that's a pretty solid rarity score. All right, we're in the what? Better than 69%. That's decent. All right, there's that one. All right, we're gonna do a couple of these. Oh, this one. Okay, this one looks like it's gonna be hard. So we got a 750 plus three-pointers made in their career, 750 blocks in their career, 750 steals in their career, played 750 games in their career, an all-star and a player of the week. Okay, this would be hard. A guy that's played over 750 career games and has also made over 750 career threes, 192 possible players. Let's go Wes Matthews. Okay, there we go. Let's go. All right, 750 games, 750 blocks. Who's just a big man that played for a long time in the NBA? Big man that played for a while. Does Andre Drummond have this? He does. But he's a 1%. All right, we gotta get someone a little bit lower than that. 750 games, 750 blocks. Like Derek Favors. Wow. Okay, shout out to Derek Favors then. All right, 750 games, 750 steals. So who's some guards? 289 players. That's a lot of players. Who are just some guards that, again, played for a long time, like 10, 12 years in the league that got some steals? Um, like Jose Calderon probably has this, right? No? Not Jose Calderon, okay. Mm, guards that played in the NBA for a while that got steals like that. Dang, veteran point guards. It's like Corey. Nah, I don't think Corey Joseph makes it then either. 750 steals is a lot of steals. 750 steals is a lot of steals. Like, oh my god, why can't I think of any like vet point guards right now? Like George Hill, he did get it. George 3.35. Okay, all stars now. All star with over 753s made in their career. God, that was an all star. Kyle Korver's an obvious one, but well, we're just gonna put him. Shout out my guy Kyle. Yeah, Silver. Okay, yeah. Who's another guy that made an all star team that also has 753s? That's a lot of threes. Um, who's some guys that are like one couple, like few to like Darren Williams makes the list. There we go. All right, NBA All Star with 750 blocks in their career. Does Mark Stoudemire have that many? Yes, he does. Or 0.81. All right, an All Star with 750 career steals. Also, they got some like Ray Allen probably has that many steals. All right, almost done. All right, Player of the Week. Now this is tough because this could just be anybody. Players of the Week that made over 753s in their career. Like Jason Terry. Yes, he does make the place with 0.72. Player of the Week that has over 750 blocks. Big man block. Who's more of a defensive big than maybe once in a while, like Tyson Chandler? Maybe. No. Okay, Player of the Week. 750 blocks in their career. Who's just like a good defensive big that got some blocks, but maybe he was just like had a week where he went off offensively. You know? Like Brooke Lopez, probably. He's a 2%. Oh, okay. We gotta think of someone a little bit more niche than Brooke Lopez. Player of the Week. So I'm more trying to think of the blocks. 83 possible players, 750 blocks in their career, and also had a week where they went nuts. 750 block. Like Andrew Bogut. Okay, a little bit more. Okay, we're almost there. 1.19. All right, we need a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less. 750 blocks, like just like Steven Adams. Nah, no way he won Player of the Week. Yeah. Uh, Player of the Week. I'm trying to think of bigs that played for like 12, 13 years. Bigs that were just around that maybe had like a little bit of offensive, like Joakim Noah. Maybe. No. Okay. We gotta have a little bit more offensive, like offensive capabilities where they could have won Player of the Week. having like a 20, 25 point per game type of week or something. Or their team was just really good. Um, like Al Horford, he does, but he's more than Bogut. Okay. Oh my gosh, this is a little bit harder than I thought. 750 blocks. One player of the week. Does Lamarcus have that many blocks? He does. There we go. All right. I thought of power forwards instead. I was like, let's go to power forwards. And I found like 750 steals, one player of the week. Guys that got steals, also one player of the week. Like Rondo probably has this, right? He's gold. Let's make a different one happen. Let's go. Who's a little bit on a lower scale? Point guards, I feel like should be kind of easy for this, right? Especially the recent point guards, like Drew Holiday, 1.2. Okay, we're gonna get all diamond here. All right, it's not Drew Holiday. What about like Iggy? No. Okay, Iggy doesn't have 750 steals. Drew Holiday, Eric Bledsoe, baby. No. Okay. And CJ McCollum. Does he have that many steals in his career? No. 750 steals is a lot of steals. That is a lot of steals. What about like wings that were good defensively? Like I'm not gonna put Paul George. He's probably too much of a percentage. Wings that got steals that were good. Maybe like Gerald Wallace. There we go. Let's go. Shout out Gerald Wallace. All right. All diamond 519. Okay. That's what I want. I just want all diamonds. All right. Next game. Okay, we got Laker Warrior, play the 2000s. Clipper, player of the week, top 10 pick. Okay. Let's go. Let's go top 10 pick first. Because that might be the toughest one to get good. All right. A Laker that was a top 10 pick at one point there for Stanley Johnson. Ended up on the Lakers. Let's go. Okay. A Warrior that was a top 10 pick. Was Nick Young a top 10 pick? Or was he more like, no, I think he was more like 15, 16. A Warrior that was a top 10 pick at one point in their career. Who like ended up on the Warriors during those championship teams, maybe at the end? Like David West. I think David West was more of a mid first round pick. Um Boogie was on there, obviously. Um was Jared Jack like a top 10 pick? No. 100 possible. Warrior that was a top 10 pick in the draft. What about Willie Cauley Stein? There we go. And then a top 10 pick that played in the 2000s. Shomal Swift. Let's go. All right. Player of the week. Player of the week that played for the Lakers. This feels so easy, right? We could just go like Meta World Peace. Hold on. Where do they have Meta World Peace? A little bit less than that. Like, did like DeAndre Jordan ever win a player of the week? No, okay. I'm trying to think of the old Clipper, like Malik Monk. I'm trying to think of the old Laker teams. Montrez. Lou Will. There you go, Lou Will. All right. A Warrior. That was player of the week. D'Lo. Okay. Andrew Wiggins. No. Warrior that was player like David West probably got one, right? Yeah, but he's even higher. Leandro Barbosa get one. Warrior that was player of the week. What about like Steven Jackson? Okay, we're almost there. Baron Davis, Jason Richardson. Okay, almost we're right. We're almost there. Anton Jameson definitely had to have one. There we go, Anton Jameson. All right, guy that played in the 2000s with player of the week. Who was just some like Michael Redd? Okay, just some like underrated players of the 2000s. Like Glenn Rice. Let's go. All right, Finally, we got a Laker and a Clipper. Wasn't like last Sasha Vujacic a Laker and a Clipper? Yes, he was. All right. Clipper and a Warrior. Jermichael Green. Did Jermichael Green end up on the Warriors? Yes, he did. All right. And then I got a Clipper from the 2000s. A Clipper from the 2000s. Al Thornton. I have a card of him. That's why. Okay. Let's go. All diamonds. I thought that was going to be harder, honestly. I really did. But we made it happen. Let's go. We're cooking right now. Okay. Next one. All right. Guy to play with the Thunder, Kings, Jazz. Guy that made 6 3-pointers in a game, had 20 rebounds in a game, and had 5 turnovers in a game. Okay, let's go. Thunder that made 6 3-pointers in a game. Jeremy Grant, I assume, had a game like that. Okay. A King that had 6 threes in a game. Marcus Thornton. Let's go. And then a Jazz that had 6 threes in a game. Utah Jazz, 6 threes. Royce O'Neal probably had a game like that, right? Yeah, okay, but he's a little bit higher. Okay, let's bring it down a little bit. Jay Crowder. Okay, we're almost there. Jeff Green ended up on the Jazz at one point. Let's go. All right. 20 rebound games for OKC. Steven Adams is obvious. Like, who are some, like, bigs that randomly ended up in OKC at one point? Nah, I was going to put Mike Muscala, but I don't think Mike Muscala had a 20 rebound game. 20 rebound game for the Thunder. Did, like, Nerlens Noel ever have one? No, okay. Dang, I just had a name in my mind. He's lost now. Oh, Taj Gibson. No, Taj Gibson never had a 20 rebound game. Um, Thunder players, 20 rebound. Demonis Sabonis. He's high percentage, 2%. What about some other Thunder players like Bismack? Bismack ended up playing for the Thunder at one point. Okay, 1.17. We're almost there. Ronnie Turioff. I don't know. Nazi Muhammad played for the Thunder. There we go. All right, 0.76. All right, a King with 20 rebounds. Costa Kufis? No. Costa Kufis. Who was some guys that played with Boogie? Willie Cauley-Stein. Alex Len was a Kings big man. Rashawn Holmes. He was nice with the Kings. He has 2% though. Okay, Rashawn Holmes. Did like Marvin Bagley ever have like a game where he just went nuts? Oh, that's Marcus Bagley. Marvin Bagley. Okay, no. King with 20 rebounds in a game. Who was playing alongside like did Gerald Wallace ever have a 20 rebound game? Yes, he did. Let's go. I don't know why I remember. I know that for some reason. All right, he was on the Kings, early Kings, and then a Jazz player with 20 rebounds in a game, not named Rudy Gobert. Not named Walker, like John Collins. Probably has one, right? Yeah, but he's a high percentage. We got to go a little bit farther back, like Derek Favors. Piece of silver. Oh my God. Okay, we got to go. Who was like before Rudy? Before Rudy in Utah, like Ekpe Udo came back and played with the Jazz. Okay, who were like? Oh, Sam Whiteside played for the Jazz. 3%. Oh my gosh. Okay. Did Oscar Sheboy ever get a chance in the NBA? Okay, I was about to say if he did though, he would have got a 20 rebound game. Okay. Early Jazz, like Moment Okur days. Who was their backup big on those teams? I don't know. Maybe some like Ed Davis. I'm trying to think of now of like journeyman. There we go. Ed Davis. Big old Ed. Ever need a big man category, go to Ed Davis. And then a 5 turnover game. This feels not hard. Let's go like Raymond Felton ended up on the Thunder at one point. 1.91, okay. Just random guards that end up with OKC. Like Deion Waiters. Okay. 5 turnover games for the Kings. We can name so many players on the roster. Like this guy. Yeah, we're not gonna talk about his name. We're not gonna talk about him though. And then a Jazz guy that had 5 turnovers. This should be like not hard at all either. Like Alec Burks. Yeah, you could kind of just name people on the roster. Eventually, they had a 5 turnover game. There we go, another diamond. 5-4-7. Let's go. We're just going with diamonds, man. That's what we need. I want all diamonds. That's all I want. Okay, we got a 25-point game in a season, a 40-point game in a season, and shot 90% from the line in a season. Guys had a 25-point game in the playoffs, a 40-point game in the playoffs, and shot under 50% for the free throw line. Okay, this looks like it's gonna be hard. Let's go with the free throw percentage first. 90% from the line, and also had a 25-point per game 25-point game playoff. How about like Duncan Robinson on those early Miami Heat runs? Okay, there we go. Hot start. Guy that shot 90% of the line with a 40-point playoff game. This feels like we're gonna have to go back in time. Like we're not just gonna be able to get away with 2020s players. We're gonna have to go back to like the early 2000s, the 90s. Like I don't know why this is a horrible name to come to mind. Alonzo Mourning. 90% of the free throw line in a season. So more guards. Think of a guard like Mark Jackson. Did he ever have a 40-point game? No. Jason Kidd? No, Jason Kidd I think had like a 30-something point game. He never had 40 though. Nash did, but he's probably gonna be a high percentage. Gotta think of like more maybe underrated like Penny Hardaway. Yes, there we go. Okay, shot 90% of the line, but also had a season where he shot under 50%. So let's think of guys that got hurt, guards that maybe got hurt at one point in the year, and only played like a couple games and missed, or maybe centers the opposite. Maybe centers that randomly only played a little bit during a year and shot 90% from the line. So like Al Jefferson. This is what 345 players that had a 90% shooting free throw season and a 50% free throw shooting season is kind of crazy. This makes me think it's like guys from like the 70s, like Elgin Baylor or something's on this list. No, like Dave Collins. I don't know. This makes me think of guys from like that time because like who else would do this? Tom Heinsohn. 90% and 50%. You know what? It's probably guys I don't play. It's probably guys that are like reserves. Like what about like Marshawn Brooks? Guys that are getting like 10-day contracts. That like randomly Marshawn Brooks like Sean Kilpatrick. No. But it makes me think of guys that like Mike James. Guys that like don't play a lot. Guys that like came in randomly, got like 10-day contracts, had a time where they were shooting the free throw, got maybe shot like 2 for 2. And then also guys that came in and only had like 1 or 2. Like what about like Isaiah Thomas? He's there, but he's a 7%. So people thought the same thing. Who are guys that just get 2-way contracts? 10. Like what about like nah, I was about Chris Dunn, but Chris Dunn's never shot 90% with the free throw line. Unless maybe, I don't know. Try it. Who are guys that just randomly come like what about like Brandon Boston? Okay, I'm trying to think of guys that don't play a lot. That are like point guards that don't play a lot. What about Greg Porter Jr. for the Cavs? All right. Point guards that are kind of like don't play. What about like Anthony Melton? Or guys that just get hurt that don't play full seasons? Oh man, this is hard for having 300 players. That's probably like the biggest pool we've had today. That's an interesting. Four guys that like. What about like Jimmer? Jimmer had a couple times where he came back. Okay, there we go. Jimmer had a couple times where he came back, with like the Knicks and the Suns. Okay, now let's go. Let's go 40-point game. All right, guy that had a 40-point game regular season, and also dropped 25 in the play. What about like Jason Richardson? Okay, a 40-point playoff game and a 40-point regular season game. So a guy that was a hooper, like Isaiah Thomas. There we go. Way better use for Isaiah Thomas. And then guy that had a 40-point game, I shot under 50%. So I'm thinking more centers. Centers. What about like David Robinson? No, he's probably too good. Probably too good. A little bit lesser on the scale of centers. What about like Rick Smits? Patrick Ewing. Okay. Did Charles Oakley ever have 55? I don't know why I put Charles Oakley. He came to mind. Guy just had a 40-point game. No. Brook Lopez? Brook Lopez had some injury plagued seasons. Who's the guy that had a 40-point game Again, I'm trying to think of bigs, maybe centers, power forwards. Ooh, ooh. What about Kenneth Kenny Lofton Jr.? Let's go. Kenny Lofton Jr. had a 40-point game at the end of the 2023 season, I think, or 2024 season. I think for the Grizzlies, where the Grizzlies only played 5 players, and Kenny Lofton dropped 40. But he also is a guy that's a journeyman. Okay, there we go. All right, this should be the easier one. A guy that had a 25-point game. What about like Josh Howard? I don't know. Just trying to think of. Ooh, let's go. All right, 25-point game and had a 40-point game. So again, a hooper. Guy that hooped in the playoffs. Like Joe Johnson. No, Joe Johnson never had a 40-point playoff game. Okay, 40-point. What Paul Millsap? Let's go. And then a guy that had a 25-point game. All right, so this opens up a lot more to the big men. Um, like did Zaza ever have like a Zaza probably had to have a 25-point game at some point, right? Oh, JaVale. JaVale had like had a game at some point. Let's go. All right, 485. There we go. We are hooping right now. All right, we got a couple more left. The next one. All Blazers. Anybody that's ever played for the Portland Trail Blazers. We are cooking. We're gonna cook. Okay. Keljin Blevins. Damian Lillard's cousin. All right. CJ Elby. Okay. Um Brandon Williams. I was trying to think. I was like, they had a point guard. Brandon Williams. Um Blazer. What about okay, well, let's go to the Dame CJ years. They had Wade Baldwin. Where did college go to? Wait, was he in Wake Forest, I think, or Wade Baldwin? He was like a first round pick that did nothing. Blazers. Um, Jake Layman was just around. All right, and then another Blazer, like the Dame CJ era, who was just on the end of the bench, like a wing that was just there, maybe. Like who was on those teams with like Dame, CJ, Harkless, Aminu, Nurkic, Myers Leonard, Zach Collins, Seth Curry, Rodney Hood was on those teams. Was there like a was there like a third string? You know, like Nate Walters was a Portland Trail Blazer, wasn't he? No, I don't know why could I picture him in that jersey. Um, Blazer, Steve Blake. All right, now final row, Joel Freeland was the guy that was around there. Marta Webster was a Blazer, and now final guy. Let's try to go for a really deep cut. A really deep, like Noah Vonleh. Okay, 3-2. All right, that was a layup. We could literally just name any Portland Trailblazer player. All right, 771. Okay, so we got someone with the Heat, Magic, and a top 10 pick. Someone with 5 turnovers in a game, played in the 90s, and average under 10. Let's start with the top 10 draft pick. Top 10 draft pick that had 5 turnovers in a game. Otto Porter. I don't know. Okay. Top 10 draft pick that played in the 90s. Top 10 draft pick in the 90s. Wasn't like Danny Manning a number 1 overall pick? Okay. And a top 10 pick that averaged less than 10 points a game. Joe Alexander. Let's go. All right. Guy that played for the Magic that had 5 turnovers in a game. This could be, feel like Wessel Wundu. No, okay. Maybe a little bit too much. Magic player with 5 turnovers. Mario Zonia probably had a 5 turnover game. Yeah, he did. All right. Magic player from the 90s. Donald Royal. He played on those Shaq and Penny teams. And then a Magic player that had less than 10 points a game. Shout out to Admiral Schofield. Tennessee legend. Let's go. All right. Miami Heat. 5 turnovers in a game for the Heat. Did Wayne Ellington ever have 5 turnovers? I feel like, yeah, he had to. Heat guy that played in the 90s. 90s Heat players. Brian Grant. All right, and then a Heat player that averaged less than 10 points a game. Um, Key player that averaged less than 10 points a game. Let's go with the Heedle days. We can go Dexter Pittman. All right. Quick one. 476. All right, I think we have what? One more left? Last one was yesterday's game. Okay. We got a Bull, a Cav, and a 40-point game in the regular season. Detroit drafted out for the 30th pick, and someone that averaged 15 a game in a season. Let's go with the 40-point game. A Piston that have 40. Piston with 40. Jerry Stackhouse. He led the league in scoring one year. Okay, yeah. Okay, we got a little bit more niche than that. I mean, Marcus Morris. Marcus Morris never had a 40-point game, huh? He probably had like 35, 36. Reggie Jackson. Yeah, he's even higher. Um, Piston with 40. Like Bill Lambier, did he have a game? No. Vinny Johnson, the original six-man bucket getter? No. Bob Lanier. Yep, all right. Detroit legend. Dave Bing. Dave Bing ever have dropped 40? Yes, he did. He dropped 40. It's not enough though. We need a little bit more. I could go like Sadiq Bey, but yeah, he's gonna be high because it was just like a random 50-point game. 40-point game. What about like Did Boyan Bogdanovic had a 40-point game, right? Yes, he did. Dang, can we go get Diamond though? This is Piston. 84 players. 84 players. Oh, what about Oh my God, that game, the highest scoring game in history. It was like 185 to 187 or something with the Nuggets in the 80s. There was like a dude on that team that dropped 40. John Long, I think it was his name, right? Was it like John Long? There it is. All right. I knew there was some dude in that game that was random that had like 40. That's who it was. Okay. 40-point game. So a second round pick that has a 40-point game. What were some of the better second? Wasn't Michael Redd a second round pick? Yes, he was, but he's not even high enough. Um, I don't like Brunson, Jokic are obvious ones. Chris Middleton. Yeah, he's an obvious one. We got probably think a little bit more farther back. Drafted after second round picks, basically, that had a 40-point game. Who are some like the best second round picks? Or maybe like underrated second round picks. IT was the 60th pick. He's gonna be up here. He's gonna be high on the list. 70, there's 76 possible players. But also it doesn't have to be someone crazy. He just has to have a 40-point game. So like um was Corey Brewer a second round pick? Alright. Jason Terry was a first round pick. Eric Gordon was a first round pick. Just not like a random 50-point games or something. Terrence Ross was a first round pick. Malachi Flynn was a late first round pick. Saddiq Bey was a mid first round pick. Kenny Lofton? Okay, no, he was undrafted. He was undrafted. Okay, undrafted. Um, Second round picks. Who were some second round picks in the league? Um, Dang, this is tough. This is kind of tough. Um, does Adrian Nemhard have a 40-point game? No, he doesn't. I think he probably has like a 35, 33-point game. Wow, this is actually the hardest one so far that I can't think of anybody that second round pick. It can't be undrafted. It has to be second round pick that had a 40-point game. Back then there was like 4 rounds. Who was someone that maybe wasn't like the 33rd pick or something like in the 80s or 90s? Uh this is hard, man. This is hard. Drafted after this, I feel like this shouldn't be that hard, but it is. There's 76 possible players. Guys that were drafted after in the second round that had a 40-point game in the regular season. Man, this is tough. This is this is pretty tough. Man. Oh gosh, I'm sitting here just not even. Can't even think of anybody. Second round picks that were successful in the NBA. Like, no, that was gonna be a horrible guess. Did Josh Richardson ever have a 40-point game? I doubt it. No. Um, bro, I'm trying to go all. This might be the first one that I'm not gonna be able to get diamond because I don't know. I just don't know. It was like Jamal McGlure, like a second round pick. No, Kyle Korver was a second round pick. But Mo Williams. Oh my god, he's a silver. That's crazy. I mean, he's a gold, and like that's crazy. Um, Manu's an obvious one. IT's an obvious one. Brunson is an obvious one. Jokic is an obvious one. There's like the best, some of the best. Draymond. Does Draymond have a 40-point game? No, he doesn't. Middleton. Man. Um, yeah, I don't know. Paul Millsap. He's even okay. He's the lowest we got. He's still at a 1.3%. Most of these answers are probably gonna have to be from like the 90s, 80s when they had like 5 rounds. That some good player got drafted in like the third round. He ended up becoming a star. Who are some like stars of the 80s, 90s? I'm just gonna start throwing things like Glenn Rice, Jamal Mashburn. Like okay, but let's go more 80s, 80s. Like Alex English, Dan Issel. Okay, yeah, we just had to throw a name out. Okay, and I think that's my best name so far. All right, a guy that had a 40-point game season and also averaged 15 per game. So maybe not a superstar, but like Anton Jameson. Guys that aren't like super duper stars, but are still really good. Okay. What's the Cavs for last? Cavs I'm gonna eat. Bull and Piston. Guy that played for the Bulls and the Pistons. Guy that played for the Bulls and the Pistons. Oh, I think I just had a name and he just is gone. Cartier Martin. Let's go. All right. A second round pick for the Bulls. Like Eric Murphy. I don't know why I have a card of him. That's why I remember him. A Bull that averaged 15 in a season. Okay, let's try to think of maybe like the bad Bull, like Jamal Crawford, I think. Okay, a little bit less than him. Kirk, did Kirk have a 15-point game season? Yes, he did, but he's super high on the list. Bull that averaged 15. Bull that averaged 15. What about like didn't Sean Kilpatrick come out for the Bulls and go crazy? Let's go. Shout out to Sean Kilpatrick. All right, Cav and Piston. Here you go, Tim Frazier. All right, let's go. How about let's go a little bit deeper with John Henson. Okay, no, he's a little bit high. Okay. Honestly, I want a little bit more Jordan McRae. Oh, he's higher. I want a low. I want a low guy. Can I think of anybody with a lower grade than who's a Cav and a Piston? Cav and a Piston. Wayne Ellington was a Cav for a little bit. He's a gold. Wow. John Lure was a Cav. He's what? Okay, I'll try one or two more times. If it doesn't work, then we're just gonna move on. Cav and Piston. Cav and Piston. Um, who played with us during? I'll just keep Tim Frazier, I guess. All right, second round pick for the Cavs. We can go Luke Travers. He was like the 46 pick or something. He's a 2 I guess he's because he's on the team now. Okay, go back in time a little bit. Go back in time. Second round picks. Kevin Porter Jr. I think was a second. Was Kevin Porter Jr.? I think he was a second round pick. No, I think he's probably like the last pick of the first round or something. He's probably like 29th. Cavs second round picks. Cavs second round picks that may never turn into anything. Amani Bates, but he's gonna be high on the list. What about like Sergey Karasev? He was a not Eric Felix. There we go. And Cab averaged 15 a game in a season. Jordan Clarkson led our team in scoring one year. All right. I think, is that the last one? That was the last one. All right. Here we go. 4.5 score. I think we got all diamonds on every single game. Right? Every single game, we got all diamonds. We got a couple unicorns or purples here and there, but majority of it, we got all diamond. What can I say? You know, that's what we came to do around here. Came here to just dominate. I still got it. Yeah, it's gonna be it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed. Once again, if you do like the content around here, consider subscribing, liking, turn on notifications, doing all stuff like that. I really appreciate it. It really helps out a lot. And yeah, I'll see you guys tomorrow.